So today we're looking at Futties Team 1. We've also got greats of the games in here as well. And in general, they've done pretty well to start with. They've given us a solid amount of content to get on board with. And to be honest, I didn't expect a lot of these players to be as high rated as they truly are. We've got our first 99s, technically in packs. I know we already had Virgil and Ginola, but we've got Mbappe, we've got Pele, we've got Yamal, all at 99s, a lot of 98s and a lot of 97s. Now obviously when you do look at the greats of the games, you think, okay, well hold on, they're 96s and stuff, but obviously with these, they can go up. It's one thing that I completely forgot about with these. Obviously the nation scores free, you get an overall upgrade. If the nation wins the Euro final, they will get a full upgrade to a 99 plus, they get the extra playstyle plus. So realistically, most of these will get at least a 1 upgrade as well. So it's why a lot of them are 96 and 97. So for instance, if we do look across the board, it's why there's no 98s, because technically they could go to 99 straight away then. So if Alex Scott, for instance, if they get free nations, I believe it's from now. I don't know if it's backpedaling, because obviously technically they would have already done that in the first game. So they are making it a little bit more difficult not starting this when it happened. Again, unsure, but in general, they obviously get nation scores free. They did that against Netherlands on a couple of days ago, so technically she should have been 98. Whether they do rectify that, they might have put out a message saying it was from, say, this Friday, which does make it a little bit more difficult for some cards, but in general they all can go up at least a +1. So if you're looking for coins, check in the description for El Dorado. Depending on the coin amount that you're looking for, the delivery time is displayed on the website, and you'll see lots of different trusted sellers with reviews on specifics and also the ability to be able to pick who you want. It will also show how much they have in stock, and obviously you can see that they are verified members. There is 100% refund ability and also 24/7 support if you need any questions with your coin needs. Also, if you head over to Trustpilot as well, you can see over 30,000 upvotes for them. You can see how reliable they are. Obviously great feedback across the entire board with El Dorado. So when on checkout, make sure you are using the code JT11 for 5% off your order every time. Discount code JT11. Now let's get back to the video. Plus then, if they do manage to win the Euros final, so if for instance if France wins it, Georgia's, Abile, Bompasta, Pichion will all go to 99 with an extra playstyle plus. So you got to kind of throw that into some consideration. Now I'm not necessarily savvy on who's truly going to win this, but we will see as we go through. Now, it's quite an obvious one, to be honest, that you would throw in the likes of Pele, Yamal, and Mbappe all into that top category. I don't think that's going to be by any surprise. We'll have a look at all the individual cards, but these are the top of the top. Mbappe, this is a #1 contender. Now, to be honest, I'm not necessarily convinced on the playstyle pluses, just because no finesse is a massive one for me. I really think I don't get why they didn't, because they know full well that that card needs a finesse at some point, because all I can do is, for instance, go for the 97 instead, which will be available in packs at some point, and I'll just evo him with a finesse on. I don't get why make him this 99 and miss out one of the most crucial playstyle pluses. But regardless of him, he's going to be fantastic. He's got the low driven, which is good enough. Quick step, incisive, chip sharp, technical. He's still going to be incredible. It's just a little snipe at him that I'm thinking they could have done him a little bit better there. Yamal at 6.5. Travella, tiki-taka, rapid, finesse, and trickster. Again, not really going to complain too much on that card. I think he's got everything you need as a winger. He's going to be one of the best there, obviously. Then we have Pele at 7.7. Low driven, tiki-taka, quick step. Would it be nice with the incisive? I don't get this whole giving him a rapid and technical or quick step and technical. Just give him one. It makes no sense to do it. And I know they're going for the 5 playstyle pluses, but why make it 5 playstyle plus and give him 2 running types? But he does have the finesse as well. Obviously puts himself into a very top end category. We do have Tevez, who I thought was going to be the next thing that everybody wants, but obviously it was just the fact that he's got a price tag of 150. Again, another great striker on the board. Technical, quick step is what it is. He's got the low driven and the press proven. Now, one thing with these is, and it's not necessarily going to be that everybody's going to go into the Evo section, because obviously Tevez with an Evo, finesse, is going to be incredible. Don't think he's going to be the top end. I do think Tevez this year has definitely been a little bit under that, but he most definitely would be a lot better with an Evo going into this as a finesse shot kind of maker. Quick step, low driven, finesse, the 5-5, the press proven would be a fantastic combination of stats, which are just an easy one. I must admit we did get our Alisson as well, another fantastic one that I think, yeah, I've got him here. He's obviously going up there. Alisson is always been fantastic for me, and he's definitely been due this upgrade at some point. Naturally, he's got himself the double playstyle plus for keepers, and then he's got a double playstyle plus for outfield. Long ball pass, ping pass, as standard as you like. He's going to be one of the better keepers that you can get in this game. Better than Kounde in my opinion, but again, that's just because Kounde for me has always been great at getting out the box. But saving wise, I'd rather have a goalkeeper this year. I think it's working much, much better. But there's going to be 5 different teams that we know of. So there's going to be 5 goalkeepers that more than likely will consist of Courtois, of the likes of kind of an Edison, and yada yada. We're going to get the best of the best. So that's always going to be interesting to say the least. If I was looking at the greats of the game, because obviously with them, we've almost got to envision that I imagine... I don't know how good Germany are. I know France are obviously pretty decent in themselves. We've got a set lineup. Obviously Sweden as well. If I kind of judge that every single one of these will get at least a +1. Obviously not everybody's going to get a 99. But if I was going for that, I think easily enough for me, the keeper goes into a miss. She's not been a fan favourite of mine for a while. She's just too small of a keeper, and unfortunately. So she's just naturally got to go into that miss category. Then if we kind of look at the rest, I like Abile. I think stats-wise, playstyle plus-wise, most of these are on a good level. You do look at a few of the fodders, and unfortunately, no matter of the upgrade or not, they're just not going to be there. And to be honest, that's still in some of the Futties as well. We look at the likes of Isco. He's just not going to be the one. Alex Scott always been pretty decent across the board when you can play left back and right back. I did think Williams would have been another nice card, but again, she's kind of just in the mix of everybody. You think if they don't get the Euros win, you're going to get a 97 potential with then going against the 98s and 99s. Unfortunately, she would be another miss as well. So there unfortunately is going to be a few that I would say are more in the usable category at the moment. We look kind of at the bottom end at this point, especially with only Team 1. These are going to be affordable. They're going to be easy to get. And realistically, you're going to look at them as kind of just players that inevitably will end up in the kind of miss category, especially when we do go into the second week. We go into greats of the game too. There's just more and more cards that you can get, and you could be a little bit more fussy. Now, obviously, some of them most definitely come in under the better sort of pretenses of this, and naturally, they're going to be the ones that will hold their own for a little bit. For instance, Abile and also Lotta are going to be in there in the kind of very usable, and then eventually they will drop down quite quickly. It's not going to be that they stay in this category for very often. These are new cards. They're brand new in there, quadruple playstyle pluses that, yes, some Evos, some players will have, but not everybody does. So it's wrong to say miss them straight away. At some point as well, if you've got a favourite in Bomb store, for instance, you can go put her in the Evo at some point. So naturally, that's going to be another kind of extra layer that you could throw in. When we look at the SBCs that we did get Van der Ven, and we also got Suker. Now, obviously, Suker is technically not a Futties, but in general, he's going to be up there with the best of them. Finesse, low driven, he's not going to be my personal fan favourite. I think you could definitely put him in the usable and then throw him into an upgrade at some point. I feel like he could be an Evo at some point, but it just is what it is with him. I don't think he's that thought of in my opinion. We did get Van der Ven now, double upgrade for him incoming. 97, anticipate, block, jockey, and quick step. Still the possibility of a 5th playstyle plus. I think he's exceptional in this game. He's a 5-5. He is definitely worth completing. One of the better centre-backs we've got. And obviously with the fact that we're getting Virgil 99 at the end of the season, which to be honest looks like it's going to be easily completable within the first couple of weeks if you're grinding out. He's going to be a great partner for them. And then eventually an Evo to that 99. That is, for me, going to be an easy one to kind of grind out and make sure that you get in there. So then we move on to some of the objective cards that, to be honest, are very standard across the board. They're nothing too crazy. If we go in here, we've obviously got loads of them in terms of the season pass. We've already been through a few of them, but we do get Friday, we've got Hanko, we've got Rosicky. Now, honestly, I don't think any of them are really going to be worth going too crazy over. Hanko's a nice centre-back, maybe a future Evo at some point, but realistically, a lot of them are just going to be an upgrade on some of the players that you've got. Maybe a super sub, but realistically, they're not going to be there. Like, Friday's going to be a miss. I think Hanko could be some sort of ability, and Rosicky for this week only is possibly going to be there, but realistically, none of these players within the next couple of weeks are going to be a star feature in anybody's team. Now, obviously, we do have some of the lower footies as well. If you go to the bottom, there is a few that are kind of cheaper. You got your Kluivert, you got your Barnes. Now, they still can definitely be usable, and this is why they're not going straight into the miss, because obviously, Kluivert at 97, he's got everything you need. Travella, chip shot, finesse, and quickstep. He's a good card. But if we compare him to your Mbappes, if we compare him to your Van de Vens, to your Tevezes, he's not going to compete on that sort of level. So, unless you're waiting for an Evo for him, he would be more usable. Same as Isco. Good card, not going to be in the crazy amount. Same with a lot of the kind of bottom end, to be honest. I think Thuram would be one that you could argue, but even then, I think he's going to be another one that I personally would say he's got to be an Evo at some point. And that's really about it. And we've got a lot of them. Like this is the problem. When you've got the top end versus the middle versus the low, you're going to get a lot of fodder players, more so than anything. So it is just a standard within this that you're not going to get a crazy amount that will be absolute star-studded in this. Whereas if you do go into the actual team, we see Kounde, we see obviously Futties, kind of coming in the middle area. But then you've got your Maldinis, your Lauren James, your obviously Z Robertos. McCabe is definitely up there, but I think she's more of, again, more of a usability card, more so than anything. So, kind of looking at the best, you've obviously got Maldini. He's going to be up there with the Van de Vens. Of course he is. I do think then you look at the kind of likes of Futties. Again, maybe you could argue a very usable in that middle. I think she's very much on the cusp. I liked her in her other versions. Which one was it? It was the 93. You had her in this version. And to be fair, even the 91 at the time was decent in-game. And it's hilarious that that's the same price, which is just nuts. But in general, she's not a bad card. Good playstyle pluses. And she definitely will be on the cusp of kind of being in the usable probably by next week. We do have the likes of Matuidi as well, another fantastic one coming in for the obvious CDMs. Beautiful playstyle pluses, has the potential for a 5th Evo at some point, and more than likely will end up with a lot of objectives, a lot of different SBCs that will give people that 5th playstyle plus rather than having to evolve them crazy. You got to think we're not going to get that many 99 Evos, I say right now, but it'll be very interesting to see who does take that spot. Now, Matuidi is an obvious one, to be honest. It's always been one of the better DMs that you'll inevitably get. I do think, like I say, with Kounde, he probably puts himself into a kind of a category of right back that is one of the best. I don't think he is the best in my opinion. I think he's a great upgrade for right now. I personally would say he's kind of more in that very usable. Kounde, not a bad card. He's always been like a Vidic at the end of the game. He's decent. He's just not going to be in the top meta. He never is. He's a solid defender. He's a solid actual playmaker, but when it comes to being against a Maldini, against a Virgil, he's just never going to come up trumps at that. We saw him last year with the greats of the game. I think he had the same. It was a solid card, and he got into an Evo pretty quickly, but he was a solid card. He just wasn't... He wasn't the main man. He wasn't the person that kind of takes it to that next level. We do then have Lauren James. She is rivaling her brother at 98 rated. We obviously had the 96 team of the year. A little bit of a letdown for the 95 on the SBC now, but finally we get another upgrade for her. A 5th playstyle plus as well. Finesse, first touch, press proven, quick step, and low driven. A solid card. Now, obviously, you've got to think of all of the others. You've got a Yamal involved now. We'll have a Salah at some point. We'll have, obviously, more and more players come through. I personally really do like her. I don't think she's going to be in that top meta. I think at the moment, you could possibly put her in and just say, okay, she's got 5 playstyle pluses, but I don't think that's going to be enough for right now with how many players that we are having in that specific role, especially with upgrades and evos as well as that. And then we do have Z Roberto, another one that, to be honest, I don't know where he plays at this point. He's got left back, left wing, left mid, and centre mid. Stats across the board on everything. He literally could play in any of them. I would say left back is probably the last position I'd put him in. He's got the finesse, the rapid, the first touch, the trickster, and the incisive. It's a shame that he doesn't have a cam aspect, because that would have been really, really good. And I don't know why they didn't give him the 5-5. I mean, why not? Absolutely, why not? Now, in terms of a card, he looks fantastic. He's most definitely going to be one of the better cards that you can get out there, and I'd possibly go more towards a kind of standard upgrade more so than anything. I think he will definitely come down as we go into players that do have that left mid just only a centre mid, and obviously Theo Hernandez, when he gets the upgrade, is going to be the best left back you could physically get. And that is going to be Futties Team 1. Let me know down below how you're getting on with it, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.